So I'm going to pick up indeed with the last set of slides for which I did not have time this morning. So that's why I said that what I failed to tell you, but I'm going to repeat myself. Yeah. What is it well, the first thing is maybe who is doing what in the quantum computing world. That's a slide I got, and I only mentioned this because if Intel would see that, they would be furious, because they're put in the category of enabling technologies, even though they consider themselves as a core quantum computing company in the making, at least. So that is, yeah. Now, what is the sense of me being here together with Carmina? Is that we want to create some kind of consciousness, yeah, with our colleagues here, at least in Europe, that say, yeah, but maybe we also want to move into that direction. So that's why I have this slide. What about you? So there's a very simple way of looking at what the IT industry is worldwide, and it seems maybe a bit odd here, but it's like a reverse triangle. And you have a very limited number of companies at the bottom that are, let's say, the core technology providers, like Intel, IBM, ARM, that we had full pastime in Europe. Now it's bought to, it's sold to a Japanese bank, yeah, SoftBank, but still, it is still based in Europe. So those are the core technology providers that then sell their technology worldwide, and they also need some kind of suppliers of technology that they need. Remember the picture that I showed about, let's say, the 2-meter rack of all kinds of equipment that we need in the quantum experiments? Well, these are companies usually that make a lot of those things. And then you also see at the layer above, you also see, let's see if, you see here the application developers. That's actually the part in which I will conclude my talk today, is about quantum genome sequencing, because you really need to understand who are in the end users of that quantum technology. Because we do hope now that we kind of convinced that there is a huge potential, and that it simply takes a lot of time before you can capitalize on that investment, on that technology. So that's why you also have at some point some companies that are already looking at applications, written in a kind of quantum language, be it OpenQL, SCAFCC, or Project Q. And at the highest level, you have even yet another category of companies. And these are the ones that we also try to talk to. These are, let's say, the chemistry, pharmacology kind of companies that work on their product development, and that would also need the computational resources that the quantum technology could provide. So this is simply another view of viewing where you can position yourself. Are you, let's say, like what we're doing in the microarchitecture together with Intel, then you're really at the bottom of this triangle. If you're really in the sense of looking at end-user applications, so maybe pharmacology, DNA sequencing, then you're really at the highest end. Okay, that's very important. What is also important is that you need to understand that there is this vague concept that also the EU is imposing, that we use that in every kind of project that we submit, is the technology readiness level, the TRL. Yeah. What is a TRL? Actually, nobody really knows, but I think it came from NASA that came up with the first kind of definition. Yeah, it's one when it's really, you just say, maybe that is a valid idea. Yeah, let's see how that would work. And at the highest level, TRL 9, is that you have an actual system which has been deployed at a large scale. Yeah, so there's a huge gap between those two. And many research projects, they are at 1, 2, 3. Well, one is maybe usually at the university level, and you have to do that a bit on your own. But you usually are, let's say, 4 and maybe 5 when you submit a proposal to the EU, or to anybody else who wants to finance. That's usually the level at which you are. So that's also where there is a huge gap, apparently, between what is still research and development, let's say, component-wise, rather than a full system. There is a big gap between those two. Yeah. And so that is why a company is usually only interested in TRL 6. Yeah. and maybe some companies even in TRL 8. So maybe very mature technology at a large scale produced and things like that. So that is, so from 4 to 5 is already a big step. And actually making it from 5 till 6 is where there is like, yeah, a big hole that you need to build a bridge or something to pass that. You can also have, let's say, the quantum variant of these TRLs, so the QTRLs, yeah, and this is a figure that I found simply on internet, yeah, and I don't know who actually made it, yeah, and you can read again here what the different components are, but you still see here 5 and 6 are components, and it's only from TRL 7 that you have a real fully integrated system that you want to be using and using in your commercial offering as a company, because these are the QTRLs are really what companies are looking for, or governments are looking for, yeah, like they need mature technology so that you don't have to debug it all the time and you don't have to fix, yeah, replacing components and whatnot, yeah. So that is very important that you really understand what this TRL and the QTRL what that actually means for you, and where do you position yourself. And trust me, yeah, for now we are really at the much lower level. So we are at the, yeah, maybe here we are definitely at the level QTRL3, where we make imperfect physical qubits, and that's what we try to improve. And also the full stack that I showed this morning, yeah, that goes up to, let's say, the quantum algorithms, actually combines already some of those levels. So that is kind of a bit of a difficult situation. Yeah, how do we position ourselves if we go up to, let's say, the quantum algorithms? Yeah, then that actually means that we are basically here at QTRL 7 and going, let's say, from 3 till 7. That's what we combine in one research project. So again, this is some opinions that people have formulated, and I don't know how valid they are. It's definite that we really go towards a different direction in which we combine all of these things. We do the full stack integration. That is very important. Now, what does that mean for you as an organization, depending on where you are? So let's assume it's TRL 8. So I'm not talking about the QTRL, but TRL 8. And then you see actually two trends. Yeah, so here you see this is the timeline, yeah, in that direction, the horizontal, and here you see the TRL levels for the software and the TRL levels for the hardware. And then you do see that these actually are two curves that potentially and hopefully, yeah, together merge towards the TRL 8 level, such that you can actually, as a company, as an organization, even a university, you can start thinking about what are we going to do, yeah, and can we really deploy something, because you need software-wise to be really understanding what it is that your product, yeah, will use from the quantum technology, and then you also will need to have the quantum technology that is going to be made available to you. Yeah, in that sense. I also want to repeat again, and I said it, I think, this morning to Louis or maybe to someone else. Yeah, QTech, so our research lab, is actually also in the making of. We all know the IBM quantum experience, which is on the web. Yeah, on the internet you can register and you can write a little open QASM code and then have it executed on the 5 qubits that they currently have, that they make available. Yeah. Well, we're going to do something similar. We're also going to make, let's say, whatever quantum processor that we have, we're going to make them publicly available on the internet. It's only going to be next year, so in 2019. And don't think that we're at the same level as IBM. Yeah, even though in number of qubits in superconducting we are. But for various stupid political reasons, they decided to go to semiconductor, and that's only 1 qubit. So that's kind of easy for the people that need to implement that. But still, we are going to make the quantum technology also available over the internet. And then you can decide whether you stay really at the quantum algorithm level, at the programming language level, maybe even runtime support, and all layers. Yeah, if you want to do something in microarchitecture, well, that's also an open invitation. You have to talk to us, yeah, and then we can maybe set up, yeah, some kind of collaboration in that sense. So this red line, yeah, is where I put here. That's a point where viable quantum computing solutions can be built, because you can make a fantastic solution, but if you have no hardware to run it on, then how are you going to bring that to the market? So these things, they really have to converge to the same level. Now, I'm going to go a little bit fast through all of these slides, but still, it is important that I make a separation between, let's say, the academic community, where most of you are from, I think, here, and I'll also say something about companies, because also, again, in QTech, one of the things that we want to do is work, of course, on the core technology, but we also have this vision of building a quantum campus. Yeah. Yes, we know that Silicon Valley is there and up. Yeah, but we also want to attract a couple of companies that would base themselves with small research teams in Delft and would start working on, let's say, all aspects in our full stack. Okay. So as a university, what would that actually mean? Well, the first thing, and I know that we already had a couple of conversations, yeah, with you. Well, you cannot escape the fact that you have to study. Yeah, I became a student again, let's say 4 or 5 years ago when I started looking, yeah, first at Google, what is quantum computing, blah, 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 yeah, and then you read a paper, you don't understand anything, you read it again, you still don't understand, and that's how you educate yourself. And that is really a big investment. So really do not underestimate the effort that it takes from you to really become active in any meaningful way in the quantum world. Yeah? So there is nothing that you can actually shortcut there. Our university, again with QTech, and that's just maybe a suggestion to University of Porto. Yeah, we also started organizing a quantum academy, which is for now 4 courses that we offer. Yeah, from physicists as well as electrical engineers. Yeah, Carmina gives one of those courses with Fabio. And so these are 4 courses that are basically made available in 3 or 4 master programs on computer engineering, electrical engineering, physics, and computer science. And so it has to, they have to follow, well, if that's what we want, they should follow the 4 courses. Yeah, and then they get a good enough understanding of what quantum technology is all about. And I think as a university, this is really a key, yeah, a mission that you have, that you also bring, that you teach about what the technology it is that you're actually developing together with others. Yeah, and that is part of the education part. I said, okay, well, we look at the entire stack. If you need to make a decision, where am I going to be working on? Because you cannot do everything, right? That even we don't do that. We work really on a couple of layers, yeah, but we don't do quantum algorithms and we don't do the quantum physics, but we work together with teams that do that. So you have to really understand where are your core competences of the team, yeah, where do you want to excel? So, and what is very important, and that's why I mentioned our quantum or our cloud offering that we are in the making. Yeah, you need to connect to some kind of experimental technology. Preferably, I already made a suggestion here. Look maybe for quantum physics guy in the university and say, hey, let's create something similar to QTech. So let's put 4 to 8 people together that we start working and understanding each other. And trust me, that's very difficult, very difficult. Yeah, but it is one of the mandatory ways in which you can actually get some kind of success. Yeah. So. Yeah, the teaching the quantum computer architecture course, yeah, that's actually a process in the making. I was planning to do that with Nader, but Nader is going to work for Intel in Oregon, so I have to find a new young guy or woman to work with me on that. Yeah, you really want to have good PhD students, and so we have Leon here. Yeah, yeah, he did his master thesis on a quantum topic. Yeah, and he did it in an extremely good way, because that's now one of the blocks in our big microarchitecture design, in our system design. And then, because he did so well and he really understood, that's why we admitted him to the PhD program. Yeah? And you really need very demanding on these things. Yes, you're always demanding for PhD, that's true, but trust me, when the logic is also completely different, then you need to be really a top-level person, okay? It is also very important to participate in this quantum physics community. said, yeah, Ariel, I don't really see him anymore. Maybe he went home already. Yeah? Too much Koen Bertels in one day. That's definitely not a good thing. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now he's coming here inside. Okay. Yeah. So now I can start talking about you, Ariel. Yeah. But yeah. No, because it is extremely important. Our first meetings that we had also in QTech, yeah, that was prior to anybody joining the team. Yeah, I had conversations with Lieve van der Sijpen and Leo Di Carlo, yeah, and they all said like quantum architecture this and quantum architecture that. I said like, yeah, but what do you mean by that? Oh, it's a two-dimensional chip with qubits on and they're connected. I said, okay, that's what you call an architecture. Yeah, I will give you a different definition of an architecture. And that's also how you discover what the differences are in culture and in language. It's really amazing, yeah, to do that. And it's very important to play also a role. That's why I'm here. It's not that I don't have anything to do, but I think it's very important to talk directly to colleagues, yeah, to say, we went through the same process. And if you're interested, make the effort. Make the effort. Talk to the president of your university, because if he says no, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Our rector, yeah, we had two rectors now in the last couple of years, because one went to emeritus, so retired. Yeah, they were both deans of the physics faculty, and they were so enthusiastic about QTech. And why? Because the university puts a lot of money into QTech. Yeah, and that's what you need, the commitment from the president of the university to have that. Okay, so these are all things that are very important. I can have a particular explanation for the companies, and I will still simply our core mission that we formulate now to companies. Yeah, we were like a month or a month and a half ago, we were at Thales. Not Thalys, it's not a high-speed train, but Thales with an E, yeah, which is a French defense company. A pretty big one, yeah, and they invited us, said, come and talk to us about quantum, and let's think together about what we can do in quantum. Yeah, we don't have all of the answers, but we went there, and it was a very interesting interaction that we had with them. So this is really what is important. But what are the key factors that you need to do as a company? Is first is build your team. Yeah, and build your team does not really mean, yeah, I'm going to have you, a random choice. No, these are people that I say they need to do a PhD in quantum computing, in physics, in computer science, in computer engineering. I don't care so much, but they really need to have a substantial background, yeah, at the PhD level in that technology. That means they have proven that they really understand the things. And then, so you need to have maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 people, I don't know, yeah? And then once they all have, let's say, the right level, you put them together, yeah, and you give them the assignment, say, now think about the corporate kind of philosophy or the corporate offering that our company should have using quantum. Yeah? And then these people, again, will be working 4 or 5 years on writing the algorithms and maybe running it on whatever experimental platform is available. Yeah? And so it takes 10 years, at least 10 years before the company and even an organization, before a company becomes operational in the field. Because it's not yet at the level, say, yeah, it's just a language and bam, yeah, no, the logic is completely different. The logic is completely different. So that is really a very important thing also that you have to understand about quantum, okay? Well, okay. Blah blah blah. So I'm gonna skip those because otherwise, yeah, I'm again running too late. So now comes the final part of whatever I was supposed to bring, is actually, yeah. Remember that the full stack, and I said, yeah, we don't really work on quantum algorithms. Well, actually, a couple of months ago, we changed that, and that's the story that I will bring here. And again, I listed the number of people that in any particular way are involved in this. But the first name, Aritra, is the master student, and I will come back to him later. Yeah, I'm simply going to quickly show you a little video, a couple of minutes about what it actually is.
Plants to human beings, it defines us all. The complete set of function of a single cell to determining the shape of a whole organism. Within a species, each organism has very similar DNA. In human beings, the difference between one person and another is a fraction of 1%. But it's what makes us individuals, giving us different facial features, hair color, and height. The uniqueness of our DNA can be used like a fingerprint to identify us with an extraordinary degree of accuracy. By reading DNA, scientists have discovered that we share sequences not just with our own species, but with every other living thing on Earth. Chimpanzees, one of our closest living relatives, share about 96% of our DNA. But we also have genes in common with fish, plants, and bacteria. Powerful evidence that all life came from a single universal ancestor billions of years ago. We haven't just learned to read the instruction manual for life, we can rewrite it as well. People have been manipulating DNA since before we knew it existed, selectively breeding plants and animals to bring out desirable traits. Now, genetic engineering allows us to directly alter DNA in a lab, creating new varieties of life. From plants that can resist disease or drought, to bacteria that can mass-produce life-saving hormones. But we don't yet know what all of DNA does. Lengthy sequences make no proteins at all, and have perhaps mistakenly been labeled junk. Some people are worried about these gaps in our knowledge and unforeseen problems they believe genetically modified organisms may cause. What's clear is that the instruction manual for life is more subtle, elegant, and complex than we could have possibly imagined. DNA has revealed many of the secrets, but we still have much to learn.
Okay, so genome sequencing, and that's not me telling that, but these are like world-class genetic researchers and professors that make that claim. Yeah, is a future of medicine. So whatever in the future we will have, yeah, the personalized medicine is really looking at your particular DNA profile and then your particular disease that you have, and we will make a personalized molecule so that it's super effective when you consume that molecule. Okay, so this is really very important. Now we had this morning about brains. Yeah, so we know that the brains, the number of neurons is really crucial, but make it even a bit bigger. Yeah, the genes are really whatever makes or breaks your body. Yeah, remember that cancer, yes, we know we should not drink and these kind of things, but basically most of the cancers are, let's say, a random decision of your body. Say, I'm going to make these cells evolve into a cancerous kind of organ or yeah, and so that is something that you don't really control. So whatever the future of medicine is, let's say in 10 to 15 years, you will indeed go to your physical doctor and maybe simply put your finger into some kind of device, yeah, and it will extract the DNA, yeah, and maybe your doctor will already have your DNA, but then you will be able maybe to immediately identify what is the variance that your current DNA profile has compared to, let's say, your current one when you were okay. So that is why genome sequencing. Why do we as engineers do that? Because we had a project, yeah, Hartes, blah blah blah, yeah, where we developed a lot of hardware, yeah, that turned out to be very useful also for genome sequencing, because this is a huge set of data, 3 billion gene pairs that we have, yeah, and when we Illumina, you may know or not know, that's like a US company that built a machine that reads the DNA. So you give it a bit of hair or whatever, yeah, and then it will extract the DNA from that. And as was said in the video, yeah, we can never read the 3 billion characters in one shot. No, we have small reads, yeah, and those are put into, let's say, a bucket, and then we have to digitally reconstruct from all these individual reads. We have to reconstruct the genome reference, and as it is in 99.9%, yeah, the same for everybody. We have one genome reference, yeah, that is being used. So the technology, the compute technology, as well as the size of the data, yeah, is so big that you really need a sophisticated machinery, yeah, to be able to do that in a fluent way. What is genome sequencing? Well, we started a company years ago. That's already like 7 years ago that I started a company, and I said because I was thinking, yeah, it's an FPGA-based company, so yeah, we should do that. Turns out after 2 years and a half, nobody was interested in FPGAs. Yeah, then he said like, okay, that we were like 8 researchers joining together. Half of them said like, this is never gonna work. It's too much stress and whatever. I'm going out of the company. And then I had to look for new people, and I attracted Zaita Lars, yeah, who is a colleague in Delft, yeah, working on genome sequencing and on the hardware acceleration part. And I also managed to attract, let's say, a potential CEO, a potential investor, Hans Kobbe, yeah, and I both motivated them to join Bluebee, and then at some point we really made the decision, yes, let's go for genome sequencing, and that is basically what we have. So what is important to understand is that for one DNA profile, it takes 6 to 7 days on a large-scale, high-performance computer cluster. So that means like 20, 30 high-end servers that you need to compute, that need to compute continuously on your DNA profile. So that's like, wow, okay, this is really a computational problem, because what personalized medicine in principle would need is that for every single individual on Earth, we know his DNA. Yeah, that's the goal of personalized medicine. Yeah, and how to get there, that's a big challenge. Yeah. So that's why we set out to make, let's say, also a cloud infrastructure. You see that here. Yeah, we have a worldwide network of cloud-based servers. Yeah, that are very much tuned to doing this genome sequencing. And so you see here, yeah, we have a lot of them in the US. We have some of them here in Europe, and also in Asia. We have them up to Australia. Now, why is that important? Well, Ernst is here. Yeah, he works for Bluebee. Yeah, actually, that was not planned that Leon and Ernst would be here. That's kind of it's nice to see them. Yeah, that they came also to this thing. Mike. No. No. Ernst, yeah. No. It's Ernst. Yeah. Okay. So we have this large center and nice software support for any kind of, let's say, medical laboratory. Yeah. In hospitals you have them. They're also independent. At universities you have them, and they can use our technology. And of course, yeah, they preferably they should pay for that. Now, a couple of months ago, and I counted, it's like 8 months ago. So Hans Kobbe, the CEO of Bluebee, yeah, he called me. We had a meeting together, and he said like, Koen, I want to do something in quantum. I said, yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, quantum, everybody wants to do something in quantum. Yeah, but then I said, like, okay, but I have an idea. What about quantum genome sequencing? Yeah, that's it. He said, that's what I want to be doing. I said, okay, nobody does that in the world, really, nobody. If you find someone, please let me know, because I want to look at what they're doing. Yeah, and so we said, like, okay, we'll, yeah, why not give it a try? And that means actually the highest layer in our full stack, that means we started working actually in the highest, on the highest layer. And then see what all the repercussions are, let's say, for the other components in our layer. Yeah? So that's why I sure, yeah, well, we'll give it a try. Happen to be, yeah, as you're a professor in Delft or anywhere in Porto or wherever, yeah, you get to meet, yeah, motivated students. And I had also an Indian guy, yeah, that said, yeah, I want to do something in quantum, but I also want to do something that's a bit more product oriented, more pragmatic. I said, like, what about quantum genome sequencing? I said, I have no clue what that is, but yeah, I'll jump onto it. And actually, just for you to know, he graduated last Friday. Right? We were there with Zaita Lars in the committee, yeah, and he had an incredibly good score, yeah. I will not, because privacy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but it was almost a maximum score. And why? Because he really understands quantum, and he really understands the genome sequencing thing. And trust me, both of them are quite complicated domains. Yeah, and so that's why Aritra defended brilliantly his thesis. Yeah, if I would have had money or whatever, I would have brought him even to give the talk, because he presents also extremely well. Yeah, so whatever I do is let's say only 60% of what he could have done. But anyway, yeah. So this is a picture of Aritra. Yeah, and he will start doing a PhD on this. So what I'm telling now is basically his work, and he made also most of the slides actually. So yeah, so this is a pictorial thing. Yeah, of all of the aspects that in genome sequencing you're looking at. We all have cells, yeah, a couple of, I don't know how many cells we have. Yeah, neurons, we have several tens of millions, yeah. So if we have a lot of cells, maybe a couple of billions, yeah, and every cell is built out of these chromosomes, and these chromosomes, they contain the DNA. And the DNA is always a combination of these four nucleolide base pairs. And these things, yeah, I was never a genome specialist, and I will not claim that I'm that now, but they always come in pairs. So you see here the cytosine and the guanine, so the blue and the red one, they always come in those pairs, and then you have the adenine and thymine, yeah, so the yellow and the purple ones. It's always. And every DNA chromosome, yeah, is made out of any combination of those pairs. But it's a random. It looks like a random combination, and that's basically what it is that you have. So your DNA is basically meant to do two things for you. Yeah, is to express. Yeah, the features that you have, yeah, so the metabolism, for instance, is fully determined by your DNA profile, yeah, but also the replication, so the reproduction features are also driven by your DNA profile. Because when you get kids, the kids most likely resemble you. Yeah, that's what, well, at least it's what you hope for, right? So that is very important in genome sequencing, and it's very important that you understand this particular sentence, because 99.9 is what we share in terms of genes, and it's 0.1, as we saw in the video, that makes us individuals. Yeah, the big ones and small ones and large ones and so, whatever it is, or females and men. Yeah, these are 0.1 is only responsible for that, 0.1, and we share a huge amount with monkeys. Yeah, we had that also this morning. Yeah, the brain. Yeah, our brain is bigger. It's in terms of the neurons. Yeah, is actually one of the biggest. If I'm making mistakes, you have to correct me. Yeah, yeah. But if you compare it to a monkey, yeah, then yes, we indeed have much bigger brains, and that is really the core of what makes us human. But we basically all have the same kind of brain. It's not because you have a big head or a small head that the brain is bigger or smaller. Yeah, that's always a bit similar. So what is it then? This genome, this reference genome. Well, that's something that maybe 10 or 15 years ago, that was in the US. They started to actually define the human genome. And that is worldwide used as the reference genome, because the 0.1, yeah, that's kind of an accident that you might have. So that is basically what you see here. Yeah, so every human has basically almost 100% the same. With chimpanzees, it's 98.6. So that's a 1.4 difference. You know, that's basically nothing. Yeah, just imagine yourself. So the 0.1, yeah, this creates already this difference or diversity among us, and you see here also how that evolves to different life forms. Okay. Now, what is important is that in many countries, and you see that in the US, you see that also in the Netherlands and in Belgium, and I don't know about every other country, but they decided we should start computing the DNA profile of every newborn. Yeah? And then, because once you have it, that will stay like that, you know. It will evolve a little bit, but the DNA is the same when you get born as when you die. So that's what you have to do. So the compute power that we need to do that, so just imagine for the entire world, even just for the US, even for Europe, the compute power that we need is really huge. And that's why I thought, why not look at these quantum aspects and see what is available. So what is the genome sequencing pipeline? Well, here are basically the different steps. These are the individuals or the plants or the microorganisms that we want to analyze, and then we get the DNA, and then we get all of the 4 bases, that we're going to be reading, because this is like a continuous 3 billion characters long kind of sequence, but you don't have machines that are capable of reading that. So it's always like you cut it into pieces, and it's the size of the base pairs that then determines how efficient your genome sequencing is becoming. And I will say a little bit more about that later. So what you basically have is wet lab, that's the Illumina machines or others, and what Bluebee is doing is the orange part here. And that's where digital processing comes into play, of reconstructing your individual reads into a fully reconstructed genome. Okay, so that is basically what we're doing. So this silicon lab here is basically all of these things, and that goes up to, let's say, preliminary analysis, where you see here variant evaluation, because there may be certain differences, and certain differences, maybe they indicate that you have a certain disease in the making, or you have it already. That's basically what we're doing. Now, what has Aritra been looking at is only at one particular block. But it's computationally still a very serious block, which is called here the BWA, the Burroughs-Wheeler algorithm, and that is actually to reconstruct these things into, let's say, a first genome, aggregated genome. So that is what he has been doing. Now, what are people? Are we the only ones? Of course not, because this is a big thing. There are a couple of research centers in the US mostly. I don't know what the name is now of the research center in the US. Brooks Institute. So that's one of the definers of what the core algorithms are, and so there are 3 generations already. Now the 3rd generation is popping up, but the industry is still very much looking at generation number 2. And what is generation number 2? Well, it looks at these base pairs, and you see them varying from 50 to 350, and then you're relatively low error, so you can compute some kind of quality of your genome that you've reconstructed based on your base pairs, and you really need to be 99% correct. Otherwise, you throw it away and you start again. Now, you see also the 3rd generation, where you see much bigger base pairs, 10,000 base pairs. Now, the principle would be, if I have 3 billion of 1 billion, 3 billion read base pair long, then it would be easy. But that's something we cannot do. We don't even know how to do that. So let's say that now we go into the 3rd generation. We have much larger base pairs. So that means bigger pieces that you have to order in a particular, and put them in a particular sequence. So that's easier than when you have tiny little pieces that are equivalent and can be put in multiple places. Okay. So that's basically what we know we have to work towards, generation 3, but for now it is still generation 2. This is what I already said. How can you reconstruct from every single person, the genome? Well, you have a reference, and you don't really know from your reads where the variants are, where the differences are with the genome, with the reference genome. Because you cannot say, it's got to be 99% the same. This 0.0 something difference can be a cancer, or can be whatever serious disease that you have. So you really need to be very precise in the genome sequencing. That's something you cannot shortcut. Okay, so that's why you always say, okay, there's the de novo. Every time we have a new organism, we need to get to know what the reference genome is. We did that for the human genome. Yeah, that was years of work. Yeah, and now we see that also. If you're let's say in the Middle East and you want to make a particular plant that can survive in warm weather with very little water, well, maybe look at the DNA profile and start investigating how to improve that. So that's why for every organism you always need to do that, and that's your reference point. And then whatever individual, in case of human beings, or whatever it is that you want to investigate, then you do the reads, and then you can map against the reference genome. That is basically what you're doing. So this is the reference genome, and this is then the reconstruction based on your mapping. Okay. Now, the compute power, simply, yeah, I'm going to show here the different views that we have. Yeah, is that you see that this is the technology evolution. Yeah, the Moore's law is coming to an end. That's something that we've been hearing, and even the Intel people, they say that because Moore is one of the founders of Intel, so they're the first to say maybe it's not true, but they say, yeah, as long as we still have ideas, it's maybe, yeah, we can postpone it, but it is there. Yeah, so the compute technology will not improve anymore the way that it has been improving according to Moore's law. So you do see here in this graph that the cost per genome analysis goes down even much faster than the processor cost. Yeah? So that's why this green is the cost of the DNA analysis, and this is the compute power cost. Yeah? So you see that indeed, in principle, we can for relatively little money, we could reconstruct all of our individual genomes, yeah, and DNA. Yeah. Why is that not happening? Well, because the amount of data that you need to process becomes so big, yeah, and so this is yeah, the exabyte per year, yeah, is what you need in order to process on a yearly basis for every single, to reach, let's say, a large-scale coverage of your DNA understanding. And then, of course, you would need more compute power, so it's kind of a dead-end circle here, a vicious circle, that we have to break it. And that's why we thought, yeah, looking at this quantum, yeah, perspective might be interesting. I will skip this one, yeah. Again, I will show, this is again what genome sequencing is all about, what the essence is. So you have your reference genome, and then you have these individual reads. And the individual read is this one, yeah, just a figurative representation, yeah, that comes in, and then you try to look where is this particular base pair is best fitted in the reference genome. And that happens to be, well, you can measure in various ways. So Aritra, he computed the Hamming distance, so that means how many bits are really different with the reference genome. And so that's why he started putting it here, this red, yeah, it coincides with this, the blue, the green, the blue, and this is different, and this is blue, so it's 1. So that's why the Hamming distance here is only 1, which is the difference between my base pair and what the reference genome is. And that is one way of putting it, let's say, to put all of the base pairs somewhere in the big alphabet of my human genome. Yeah. So that is what this means. The Hamming distance, the lower the better. So there's only 1. Yeah, and that means that this is the way to put it. This is a particular actual size, yeah, of 50 size, and so what you basically do is you compute where this particular base pair should be put into the human genome. So you simply want to save the 21, which is the index, yeah, of this where this particular base pair starts, yeah, and it goes 5 characters further. That is basically what you want to be able to store. So that is what you, yeah. Yeah, that's what you actually need to do. So a quantum accelerator, yeah, I will not go into detail because we don't have a quantum accelerator, right? Yeah, but again, it is the same here. Yeah, it is what we're doing is forget about all the computational devices. We really want to understand the quantum algorithm. So that's why we make everything a bit blurry here. Yeah, and we wanna build maybe a simulator and look at smaller DNA profiles rather than the big human one. Yeah, we want to simplify the problem to a sense that it's simulatable, that we can simulate and compute on our machine. Yeah. Now I'm gonna again click. Yeah, the slides we sent everything to Louis, so you can get access to everything. Yeah, and look at it. Yeah, so blah blah blah. I will not do here. You do see here the same picture as that I used to start with this morning. Yeah, where when I spoke about the fact that two computer scientists made a new discovery of maybe the first real computational problem that it can never be solved classically. Yeah, so that is something that I reuse basically that figure here. Okay. So yeah, Grover search. I made a mistake this morning that I mixed Shor and Grover a little bit, yeah. So, but this is Grover is searching, yeah, in a database a number, and Grover again came up with an algorithm that minimizes the number of steps that you need before you find something in a database. And again, so here you see the index, yeah. This is the match. Yeah, of the Hamming distance, because here the Hamming distance is 0, yeah, in this particular case. So that is the basic mechanism that I explained a couple of minutes ago, where you have the human genome reference, yeah, reference genome, and then the base pair that looks at where the minimal Hamming distance is in our case. Yeah, again. I'm not gonna go through the entire thing here. This is what Aritra studied, yeah? Just to be sure, it's not something that said, yeah, whatever, everybody can do that. No. His thesis is full with mathematics, yeah? So really, because he really understands what is, well, I do assume he understands, right? Yeah, and I do hope he understands. Yeah. So, but this is so we looked at everything here, all these blue things, yeah, and then he identified what with the red stars are really crucial components. I will not talk about the complexity because that is again, yeah, yeah. And now I will conclude, Louis, so that you can smile again a little bit. That's good. Yeah. So we are absolutely not there. So there is no solution yet. This is just the first, but a very viable and very deep kind of analysis of what genome sequencing is and what are now the potential known algorithms that we have in quantum that could be used in that sense. And so, as I said, he will start doing a PhD. Yeah. That means that he will continue working on what those algorithms could be. And then I'm also talking already to, let's say, a biologist, because we need to validate actually whatever the algorithm is that we're going to be building. So I really need maybe a biologist specializing in genome sequencing, and then hopefully also in quantum genome sequencing. And together we may work, let's say, either as a simulation engine, but we also want to be working with Leo Di Carlo to make some kind of computational prototype, quantum prototype. Maybe in 4, 5, or 6 years we will have it. Maybe it's going to take 10 years. I don't know. Yeah, but that is our goal. Yeah, I wanna show the picture that we also saw yesterday. Yeah, but I added also a new guy here. Yeah, that we didn't have yesterday. So you see here, everybody in red are master students. Oh, by the way, this is a Portuguese guy, Miguel. Very bright, and I do hope he wants to do a PhD with us, yeah, because we have a lot of positions actually open for microarchitecture and quantum, yeah, around 4 or 5, yeah, positions we have open, and of course some of them will be taken by the guys in red. But here is also a new guy who started, let's say, 2 weeks ago, Abid. He's a Moroccan guy, yeah, and I got out of the blue suddenly an email. Yeah, Nader and me said, yeah, I'm doing quantum physics, and but yeah, I don't feel I'm progressing. I don't have any research, yeah, support, and there's no money, there's no experimental thing. Don't you have anything? And so I said, yeah, come. And he started two weeks ago, and last week also he gave a talk, and I said, but be simple and be very clear. And I went like, wow, this is a dream guy also to have on the team. He's doing a PhD with us now, yeah, and so that's why I insist on pointing him out, right? For the rest, everybody else, yeah, these are PhD students. Yeah, he's the neural network decoder. Yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm gonna shut up now. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Yeah.
We have some time for questions. No questions. So, but you started by referring Bluebee, the company, as a startup. But do you have any service that you are already providing, or?
Yeah. So Bluebee's, so the graph of the worldwide network that we have is available. Yeah. So Hans also started, let's say, 2 years ago. He started opening an American office in the U.S. in Houston. No, not Houston. In the where MIT is. Boston. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And because they really believe that in Europe everything is over-regulated. We may recognize that a little bit, yeah. But the US is like, sure, yeah. If you have a good offering, bam, yeah. We have now already 4 big US companies having a contract with us. They're using our infrastructure. So yes, we start having a lot of customers. And hopefully the turnover will now become also big. That is where Bluebee is currently very much focused on. So Bluebee is paying part of the PhD of Aritra, yeah. But I already told them you will not have any kind of legal right to use our results in any particular way, because yeah, I cannot give everything away, you know, just for what, for 200,000-300,000 euros. They get everything that we do with 30-40 people. That's not possible. So yes, Bluebee, we are actively evolving in the market. Yeah.
You mentioned about what you said at the beginning of the presentation. You mentioned a path or a roadmap to building up a quantum startup or something like that, and you mentioned a path of 10 years, considering the human resources that you would need. That already means that we'll have very few quantum engineers in 10 years from now, because we don't have even software engineers. We don't even have enough software engineers or data scientists right now and so on. Can you see any way to shorten that path?
Well, the most important way is that we start having in multiple places the offering of quantum computing, yeah. Because in the end, simply we had people also talking about AI. Now AI, yeah, is actually, let's say, the precursor of whatever becomes core computer science. Yeah? And so whatever people do now say, this is artificial intelligence, deep learning, whatever, maybe in 5-6 years this becomes like a random run, yeah, that you can do. Yeah? And something similar I do hope to expect in the quantum field. It is not there, and it's going to take at least 10 years before we educate people, yeah, even ourselves, to build the course, yeah, and things like that. So in 10 years, we may start having, let's say, sufficient supply of quantum engineers. And maybe we will even stop calling our students quantum engineers, just simply call them engineers. And quantum is going to be a normal component of their formation. Yeah? Again, that's what we hope to achieve. Will we make it? I don't know, yeah. But this is a prediction, and I can be completely wrong. Yeah. So, but yes, we will have in 10 years. We will have, let's say, people graduating in Delft, in Porto, wherever in the world, that will have sufficient quantum background, because it's going to be everywhere then. Yeah. That's what I hope in 10 years at least. Yeah.
More questions? So, yeah.
Okay.
I have. Okay. You spoke about engineers having quantum bases or having education in quantum. What do you think if you think that there are other professions or educations that should have other things that would benefit these new technologies. So to say, what are the new type of professions of education that you need to provide people, in your opinion, in this case, for quantum-based technologies and quantum computing? Because I'm pretty sure you don't need only engineers, okay? You need...
Yeah, well, if we only have engineers, maybe the world would be a much better place, yeah? Yeah. No, but I think it is, so I want to reiterate a little bit what I just said, yeah? The quantum computing will become, let's say, a standard component, maybe not for philosophers or historians, or, yeah, maybe not now, yeah? Even though we had a historian actually, you, yeah? So actually, that I'm already, yeah, I have the falsification of my statement sitting here, yeah? So, I think, I do hope that quantum technology, in the sense of programming, the algorithms, yeah, the way of looking at normal, or what we consider to be normal or special problems, will become such a natural extension that yes, I only know the engineering, of course, now, so I'm a bit biased. But I'm assuming that in computer scientists, maybe even economists, that medical doctors, they will all have those kinds of training, you know. So that is, I think, hopefully a normal expansive path of quantum technology wherever it is needed. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have also one question. One of the kind of trends that we've been seeing a lot recently is whenever there's an interesting technology, like quantum computing, or maybe 5 years ago, machine learning or deep learning, you see one of these big companies coming in, you know, talking to a university and basically buying an entire department to start working for them, right? And we've just seen Google doing this to the quantum computing group in Santa Barbara.
Martins.
They just did that, right?
Yeah.
So how do you see this? And like, what is keeping Intel from buying your group and you starting working for Intel in a way that then maybe you cannot be here talking about these things?
Yeah.
See my point? So how do you see this sort of a very thin line between developing science and technology and exposing them versus basically being bought by one of the big players and just make their own game bigger and bigger? Yeah,
that's definitely the trend that we see, and it's one of the first time, well, at least in my life, that I see, yeah, that we really see the industry really looking at what are the good research groups in the world. And we all know that the first computers, they were made in universities, right? So that's in the quantum, will that also be the case? But we really need the sophistication of the technology is such that we really need companies like Intel and IBM. I don't know what Google is really doing, but their tensor machine is also a very powerful kind of device that we saw earlier this morning. Yeah. So, but just to give a more concrete answer, Leo and Lieven are the quantum physicists, yeah, in QTech. They're now employees also of Intel. Only 20%, but they're employees. Yeah. I'm not an employee, yeah, because I work in microarchitecture, and they say, yeah, but there's too much to be done, so we can postpone. And I don't want to be an Intel employee, yeah. So let's be clear on that. But this is something that has already been taken care of. And actually, the university says, do we really want that? Because that loses, they lose also kind of the flexibility that they have as scientists to communicate and to interact. So it's really like the Intel path that they need to follow. Yeah, yes, they make their own contributions, that is also true. But is that really the most meaningful way? And I don't believe that's for me the meaningful way. Yeah. So that's why I prefer to be open and independent, and be able to talk here, yeah, and collaborate with multiple people. That is so. Yeah. Again, do I have a clear view on that? No. I simply know what we have done in the past, and they will stay in Intel. And you know that Nader is now hired by Intel. Yeah, I lose him. That is too bad. But I hope it's not going to be every year that they're gonna take my best guys. Okay, Carmine is also very good, right? But Carmine is on a problem that is not so much not so close to what Intel is interested in right now. Yeah, so that's why she's still around, and I'm happy, of course, that she's still around. Yeah, so but that's reality these days. It's a new thing in the academic world that companies really say. Microsoft, for instance, bought the entire group of Leo Kouwenhoven, the Majorana group, for some crazy reason, or maybe good reason. Yeah, Microsoft is obsessed by Majoranas that this will be the best quantum technology. And they simply bought the entire group of Leo Kouwenhoven. He's still a professor, but he never shows up in meetings anymore. Yeah, in QTech. So that is that. You see, yeah, is that something you want? I don't know. I personally don't want that. Leo does that, yeah, and he gets a much better salary than I do. But yeah, that's what you do see happening now. Yeah.
Any more question? So I think we should thank our speakers.